Across the wires and through the air, those who seek will find me there. Story, wonder, voice, and art, find the ears and find the heart. There once was a fairy who fell madly, deeply in love with the sky. And certainly you can understand. You've seen a sunset or two. But this light fairy, his love came with heartache from the start. The start of all of it, everything, that began so long ago. So long ago that no longer did he smile at the sharp brilliance of noon or the pale silver shimmer of midnight. No, he was entirely consumed. His love was more difficult to find, for he loved the lavender light. That quiet, fleeting color that lives only for a breath when day softens into night, or when night loosens its grip on morning. And his name was Eloan, Keeper of Light. Some of the light fairies collected sparkles from the cresting waves of the oceans, or, if they wanted a challenge, maybe they'd seek out the gleam of mischief in a bright eye. While other fairies filled their lanterns with sunlight, thick and golden, easy to bottle and ready to deliver to the dark places within the realms, or moonlight, sweet and syrupy and luminous, slick with possibility, slipping easily into their baskets and even more so over the sleeping ones. Eloan wandered the edges of the world, chasing something that never stayed long. He would run along the horizon at dusk, hands outstretched, trying to catch the lavender glow of the horizon, just as it slipped away between his fingers. It always vanished too soon, too fast, but it stayed there in his memory and his heart, a constant tug. A call he wanted to answer, that he tried to answer, but couldn't. One evening, tired and a little heartsore, Eloan ran farther than he'd ever ran before, chasing the twilight. Spent and a little lost, he collapsed into a field of wild herbs. The air smelled of rosemary and thyme and something soft, something sweet that he couldn't quite name. "Lavender," came a small voice beside him. Eloan turned, and there, inching slowly across a stem, was a caterpillar, striped in a pale green and dusk purple. "I know that smell," the caterpillar said proudly. "I am that smell. I have been eating it all day long." Eloan blinked. "You eat lavender?" "Well, of course," said the caterpillar. "My name is Calliope." Eloan laughed, a soft, surprised sound. "I've been chasing lavender haze for eons," he said, "and you've been eating it, living inside of it, right here all along." Calliope wiggled thoughtfully. "You're chasing it wrong." He paused a long moment before asking with his entire heart, "Can you show me?" And so began an unlikely friendship. Each day Eloan would return to the lavender field. When Calliope munched her way through the fragrant stems, Eloan would lie beside her and watch the sky change. The colors would shift, and Eloan would get ready to run. And Calliope would say, "Wait, not yet," because Eloan always looked just a little too early. He'd begin running before he even saw it, when the light was still too blue or too pink. "Patience," she would remind him. "Watch." And so he did. Passed, then weeks, and they watched the lavender skies together. And though it felt strange not to chase the light and catch it like he'd been taught to do, he enjoyed his nights with Calliope, and a friendship born in the twilight is a very special thing. So they watched, and waited, and laughed together. Eventually, Calliope grew slower, quieter, until one morning she simply said, "I think it's time." "Time for what?" Eloanne asked. "For becoming," she replied. Eloanne watched as she wrapped herself in silk beneath a lavender stem, a small, still chrysalis swaying in the breeze. He didn't know where to go or what to do, so he just waited. This lavender field was his home. Calliope was his home, so he did what she'd taught him to do, and he went very still. He sat, he waited, he watched, and he let himself feel the silence of his aloneness. The sun set, and he watched the lavender sky alone for the very first time, he realized, since the first time. He'd been chasing it ever since that very first night. That first night he'd seen it all, trying to catch that lavender light so he could have it forever. Until he met Calliope. So, Eloanne made a choice. He stopped chasing. He let the lavender glow wash over him like a flood. He felt the colors of dusk, soft lavender, deep mauve, even the blues and residual soft oranges. They cascaded straight through to his soul. He glanced back to Calliope and then to the sky and realized that this night was brand new, and the world was reborn for him. And strangely, he realized, so was he. So, reborn, he sat in that field through long afternoons, through golden evenings, through nights stitched with stars, watching, listening, keeping vigil over Calliope's cocoon, and learning the rhythm of things that cannot be rushed. And then, one evening, at the very edge of Beltane, when the world was thick with bloom and promise, the sky began to shift again. Not gold, not blue, not pink. Lavender. Full lavender skies as far as the eye could see. But Eloanne didn't move, didn't reach, didn't try to catch it. He simply watched, wrapped himself in the hushed violet glow, and beneath that light the chrysalis trembled. From it emerged something new. Wings, radiant like twilight made tangible, a tapestry of dusty rose, dusky mauve, and every silvery purple under the sun. Like two moon-kissed petals that eventually give to the deepest velveteen edges. Like the very light Eloanne had spent his entire life chasing. "Calliope?" he whispered. And the butterfly lifted into the lavender air. "I told you," she said gently, her wings catching the fading light. "You don't catch it." He nodded, replying, "You just become still enough to see it." And Eloanne understood. The light he sought had never been something to hold. It was something to witness, to meet, to become part of, even if only for a breath. From then on, Eloanne no longer tried to chase the light and bottle it up. Instead, he kept the threshold. He sat at the edges of day and night and taught others how to see what only appears when you stop reaching for it. And if you ever find yourself outside on a warm Beltane evening, just as the sky turns soft and violet, you may see them, a fairy and a butterfly, laughing in the lavender glow. Happy Beltane, my dear listener. And to one very special listener, happy birthday.